Good evening, everybody. It's good to be here with you. The most important question is the word salvation. I just felt like that I needed to come out and make this. It was so important. I didn't want to put it off. I didn't want to wait. Salvation was mentioned in the Bible 158 times. I even wrote down the definition. It says it's preservation or deliverance from harm, ruin, or loss. You know, it talks about preservation. When my grandson gets his hands near something that is priceless, you put it up high enough that he can't reach it. And I believe that God also puts up the Christian to preserve him for that final need that the Lord has. It also means the word deliverance. I was thinking about Moses when he stood at the water's edge and God told him to put the stick down in the water, and it opened up. It didn't open up of its own accord. It opened up because God commanded it to open. That's an amazing thing. It says deliverance from harm. You know, God didn't create us to do us any harm. He created us to give us life and to give it to us more abundantly. If we choose to live in harm, then that's a choice that you and I make. It also means the word ruin. I explained to the people that, you know, if you spill grape drink on your clothes, you stain your clothes to the point that you can't use your clothes anymore because the stain is embedded. And therefore the garment is ruined. You know, Satan wants to ruin your life. It also talks about the word loss. You know, Satan's job is to let it be for naught. Let it be for loss. Let it be for ruin. Not let it be for deliverance or preservation. That's not it. But the first verse where salvation is mentioned is in Genesis 49 and verse 18. And that question was asked right there, are you waiting for salvation? Well, you know, I hope that nobody is waiting for salvation to just come knock you over, because that's not the way you're going to get salvation. Salvation is personal. If you want to jot down these scriptures, Psalm 13 and verse 5 talks about a personal salvation. Psalm 18:46 talks about your desire for worship. You desire genuine worship. Psalm 27 verse 1, his power is in you. If you go back and read that verse, you'll see where God empowers the Christian. Psalm 38:22 talks about our helper that is in the Lord. It's just like a train that has several engines in the front, and in the middle they have one pusher, and then on the back sometimes they'll even have a couple of engines to push the train along. Psalm 62, it asks the question here, are you waiting on God? Was the question. But you know, I'll be honest with you, I had to turn that question around. Is God waiting on you? We can't, none of us say that we're waiting on God, because God has already done everything he needed to do to create salvation. And it's up to you and I to take salvation. Are you waiting on God, or is God waiting on you? I want to think that God's waiting on you. He's already furnished salvation. You know, salvation is totally free. You can't earn it. You can't work for it. You can't live good enough to get it. You can't live good enough to keep it. It's a gift from God. It's only a gift. But you know what? There's one little catch to that asking of that gift. You have to ask for it. He don't just hand you salvation. If I had something in here, I'm going to use this bottle. This bottle right here, I can reach through the camera and hand you that bottle. But it's up to you to take that hand and to get that bottle. Salvation is free for the asking. Have you asked him for salvation? Do you remember a time when you was really humble and you outright asked him for salvation? I can tell you right now, if you never asked him for it, he's never given it to you. If you never come to him by faith, like Paul said in Romans 10 and verse 9, that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in thy heart that God raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. I mean, there's something that we have to do to get salvation. I just felt like I needed to come out tonight and make this video for somebody that might be waiting. Is God waiting on me, or are we waiting on God? No, I think that God has already fulfilled the word salvation. He's just waiting on you and I to take it. Thank y'all for listening.